Have you ever noticed how the energy of the world seems to shift the exact second the sky turns dark and the first drops start hitting the asphalt? Look around you. For the vast majority of people, bad weather is a warning sign or a major inconvenience. They rush around, pop open umbrellas in a panic, complain about the traffic getting worse, or moan about their beach weekend being ruined. But for you, the exact opposite happens. While the world outside accelerates and stresses out, something inside you slows down. It is as if you can finally breathe. There is a physical sensation of relief, almost as if your shoulders involuntarily drop and relax when the sunlight disappears and gives way to that soft, welcoming gray. If you have ever caught yourself smiling discreetly while listening to a storm raging outside, or felt an inexplicable peace walking under an overcast sky while everyone else looked miserable, I need to tell you something important right off the bat. You are not weird. You are not depressed, and you are definitely not alone. There's a name for this. You are likely a pluviophile. Someone who finds joy, comfort, and peace of mind in the rain. But way beyond a cute label to put in your Instagram bio, there is a deep and fascinating psychology that explains why your brain works this way. Why for you the sound of rain isn't noise, it is music. And why a gray day isn't a sad day, but a safe day. The truth is that we live in a society obsessed with the sun. The beautiful day is always the sunny, productive, extroverted day where you have to go out, you have to be happy, you have to interact. The sun demands a social performance. It exposes everything. But the rain? The rain gives you permission. Permission to stop. Permission to stay home without guilt. Permission to turn inward. Think about the last time it rained on a Sunday. Remember that feeling that you weren't missing out on anything out there? That the world stopped demanding your presence? It is about this psychological freedom that we are going to talk about today. Many people look at those who love overcast weather and assume we are melancholic or sad. They confuse our need for introspection with bad loneliness. But what science and psychology show us is that the Pluviophile brain processes sensory stimuli in a unique way. What for others is an ugly day, for us is an emotional regulation tool. It is as if the rain were a heavy-weighted blanket that calms a nervous system overloaded by the noise and excessive brightness of modern life. Today we are going to dive deep into the mind of those who love the dark and the water. We will understand why the smell of wet earth, the famous petrichor, has an almost narcotic effect on your brain. We will discover why the diffused light of a cloudy day helps you think with more clarity than the harsh light of noon. And most importantly, we are going to transform this preference of yours, which many call strange, into a competitive life advantage. You will leave this video understanding that loving the rain isn't about escaping reality. It is about knowing exactly how to recharge your own soul. So if you are listening to me now, perhaps with a cup of coffee in hand, hoping it starts raining outside, stay with me. Because the forecast for the next few minutes is mental clarity with heavy showers of self-knowledge. Before we start, I'd just like to ask you to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This way, you help this content reach more people who need it. Let's start by deconstructing a myth that has followed you your entire life. The myth that the sun is synonymous with happiness and rain is synonymous with sadness. This is a cultural construct, not a biological truth. For your brain, the story is completely different. Think about the harsh midday sun. It is aggressive. It is visually loud. The sun creates hard shadows. It demands your eyes squint. It raises your body temperature and consequently accelerates your metabolism in a way that can generate anxiety. The world under strong sunlight is a high-definition, high-contrast world where everything is exposed. For a person with high sensory sensitivity, this is exhausting. It is too much information entering through your eyes and skin at the same time. Now visualize the moment clouds cover the sun. The light becomes diffused. The hard shadows disappear. The contrast lowers. Colors become more saturated but less bright. The world visually turns down the volume. For the pluviophile, this isn't darkness. This is clarity. Your brain stops wasting energy trying to filter out excess light and stimulus, and finally, that energy is left over for you to think, create, and feel. But the visual impact is just the tip of the iceberg. The real secret of your love for rain lies in the sound. There is a concept in audio engineering and neuroscience called pink noise. You have probably heard of white noise, that static of an old TV. White noise is constant but can be irritating for some. Rain, however, is the perfect example of pink noise. Pink noise possesses a mix of high and low frequencies that is mathematically perfect for the human ear. It creates a kind of sonic curtain. When it rains, the sound of falling water masks the abrupt noises of the city. The car horn, the neighbor yelling, the construction noise. All of that is dampened and softened by the constant sound of water. This generates an immediate psychological effect of safe isolation. It is as if the rain creates an acoustic bubble around your house or your room. Inside this bubble, your brain understands that it doesn't need to be on high alert. The fight or flight system is deactivated. You don't need to monitor the environment for sonic threats because the rain has occupied the entire auditory spectrum with something predictable and rhythmic. That is why you sleep better when it rains. It isn't just cozy. It is your central nervous system receiving a chemical signal that it is okay to let your guard down. And speaking of letting your guard down, we need to go back in time, about 10 or 20,000 years ago. Let's talk about the evolutionary psychology of rain. Imagine your ancestors living in the wild. A clear sunny day was a dangerous day. It was a day when predators were hunting. It was a day when rival tribes could attack because visibility was high. The sun demanded constant vigilance. You needed to be out of the cave, hunting, gathering, exposed. But what happened when a storm hit? The predators hid. Rival tribes didn't go out to war. Rain was nature's great ceasefire. When it rained, the primitive human knew nothing bad would happen out there. He could stay inside the cave, warm, with his family, without fear of being attacked. This instinct hasn't disappeared. It is engraved in your DNA. When you hear rain hitting the roof and feel that irresistible urge to wrap yourself in a blanket and do nothing, you aren't being lazy. You are accessing a genetic memory of absolute safety. Your body knows that while water falls outside, the world out there cannot touch you. It is a primitive protection. Rain is the only natural barrier that separates you from the demands of modern society. This leads us to a crucial point about the personality of those who love rain. There's a very strong correlation between pluviophilia and introspective intelligence. We live in a culture that values constant extroversion. You have to be on, you have to be out there, you have to be happening. The sun is the symbol of this extroversion. Rain, on the other hand, is the weather of introspection. When it rains, the streets empty out. The frantic pace of commerce and traffic slows down. The world outside becomes less interesting, and this forces you to look at the world inside. For many people, this is terrifying. Being alone with their own thoughts, without the distraction of the outside world, is the nightmare of those who don't know how to deal with themselves. That is why so many people get moody when it rains. They don't hate the water. They hate the fact that the rain took away their distractions and forced them to face their own boredom or their own anxieties. But not you. You, as a pluviophile, use this moment as fuel. The rain validates your inner world. There is also an aspect of emotional validation that is rarely discussed. Imagine you are having a tough day. You are sad, tired, or dealing with grief. If you go out on the street and the day is beautiful, with the sun shining and birds singing, there is cognitive dissonance. The world is happy, but you are sad. This makes you feel wrong, inadequate, as if you were ruining the scenery. The sun seems to mock your pain. Now imagine that same sad day, but with a gray, rainy sky. Suddenly, the outside world matches your inner world. There is harmony. The atmosphere respects your state of mind. You don't need to force a smile because the weather itself is already crying for you. This congruence brings immense comfort. It is the feeling of being understood without needing to say a word. The rain hugs you and says it is okay not to be radiant all the time. And we cannot ignore the pure chemistry of it all. Have you ever felt that specific scent that rises from the asphalt or dry earth when the first drops fall? That smell has a name, Petrichor. But it isn't just a pleasant smell. It is a complex chemical reaction. Plants secrete oils during dry periods, and when it rains, these oils are released into the air along with a compound called geosmin, produced by bacteria in the soil. The human nose is extremely sensitive to geosmin. We are capable of detecting it in incredibly low concentrations, much more than sharks can detect blood in the water. Why did we evolve to love this smell? Because rain means water, and water means life. Water means the harvest will grow, the animals will drink, the tribe will survive. When you breathe deep that smell of wet earth and feel an almost physical pleasure, it is your reptilian brain celebrating survival. It is a shot of dopamine and serotonin triggered by a species preservation instinct. You aren't just smelling wet dirt. You are smelling the promise of life. Furthermore, rain alters the ionic composition of the air. Storms and heavy rains generate negative ions. Despite the name negative, they are extremely positive for human health. Air conditioning, electronics, and pollution generate positive ions, which are associated with fatigue and irritation. Rain cleans the atmosphere, knocks down dust, and charges the air with these negative ions that improve brain oxygenation and increase the feeling of well-being and mental clarity. That is why often after a storm, you feel like you can breathe for real for the first time in days. The air is literally cleaner, not just from dust, but electrically charged in a way that favors your biology. Therefore, Your preference for overcast weather is not a character flaw. It is not a sign of depression. It is a sign that you possess a refined sensory system. You are someone who notices nuances. Someone who finds comfort in protection, who values the pause, who understands the biological need for rest. While most people live on the surface, running from one place to another under the scorching sun, trying to fill the void with noise, you found the secret to recharging your energy in stillness. You learn to see beauty where most see inconvenience. But here is the great danger. The world will try to take this from you. They will call you unmotivated. They will try to drag you out when all you need is to stay in listening to the storm. And it is exactly about how to protect this nature of yours and use it as a strategic advantage in your life that we need to talk about to close this reasoning. Because loving the rain is easy. The hard part is living as a pluviophile in a world designed for sun lovers. We have reached the most important point of this conversation. Now you understand that loving the rain is not just an aesthetic preference. It is a biological configuration. It is a neurological necessity for silence, protection, and renewal. The big game changer happens when you stop fighting against your nature and start using it in your favor. The world will keep glorifying the frantic productivity of sunny days. Let them do it. You have a secret advantage. While the majority of people see rain as an obstacle that messes up plans, you see it as an invitation for deep focus. Think about how many projects, how many books, how many brilliant ideas were created to the sound of a storm. The history of humanity was written by people who, just like you, preferred the introspection of a gray day to the agitation of a bright one. Cities known for rainy weather, like London, Seattle, or St. Petersburg, were cradles of musical and literary revolutions. This is not a coincidence. Rain pushes creativity out because it eliminates external distractions. So here's your challenge. The next time the sky closes up and everyone around you starts complaining, do not shrink back. Do not agree with them out of politeness. Smile internally. That is your moment. It is the time when your superpower of concentration and calm is at its peak. Use these days for tasks that demand your soul. Write that text. Read that difficult book. Have that deep conversation with someone you love. Or simply rest without any guilt. Understand that your battery doesn't charge in the sun. It charges in the shade. And a charged battery is the most valuable thing you can have in this exhausted world. Do not allow them to call your peace sadness. The melancholy you feel in the rain is not depressive. It is creative. It is reflective. It is a noble state of the human mind that allows us to process life instead of just running through it. You are a pluviophile. You are a guardian of calm in a chaotic world. You are someone who can see beauty where others see only a bad day. And that is a rare gift. Rain cleans the air. It cleans the streets. And for people like us, it cleans the soul. When the next storm comes, do yourself a favor. Do not close the window immediately. Crack it open. Feel the smell of wet earth invading the room. Hear the natural pink noise calming your nervous system. Breathe deep and remember that the universe is taking care of the noise outside, so you can take care of yourself inside. Now I want to hear from you. Is there a specific moment of rain that you love the most? Is it the smell before it falls? The loud noise on the roof during the night, or that calm silence right after it stops? Tell me here in the comments. I read every single one because, after all, we are from the same tribe. Big hug, enjoy the next cloudy day, and see you next time.